Well, hi everyone. Welcome to the virtual Cobalt Cafe, week number 275 of our series. My name is Rick Lupert. I'm your MC for tonight for our open reading, as well as to welcome our featured reader, José Alcántara. Jose, very happy that you're here with us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for spreading the word about the reading. I'm looking forward to hearing you read. We're going to do a chunk of our open reading first, 5 open readers, and then we will bring Jose on, and then we will have the rest of the open reading. If you would like to read and you haven't already done so, send me a message in the chat, and I'll be happy to add you to the list. Once it's your turn to read, you get to read up to 2 poems, maximum of 2 poems, and as always, our suggested time limit is less is more. We do have a 1-drink minimum here at the Cobalt Cafe. I'm not sure how to go about enforcing that, but it exists, so please observe it in some way. Finally, make sure you have the chat room open. That's where you can interact with each other since everyone is muted throughout the festivities. Otherwise, I believe that is everything I need to tell you. Before we get going with our first open reader, I'd like to ask if there are any questions. Looks like Martin Parker has a question.
Good evening, Rick. I was just wondering if you have a favorite Moody Blues song.
You know that one.
The one that everybody knows.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
They're not a band I've really followed, outside of, generic classic rock listening to. So I probably know what everyone else knows and never really bothered to pick a favorite from those.
Okay, cool. No problem. Well, we might find out about mine later. So.
All right. Well, I guess it's a mystery then. All right. Thank you, Martin. Any other questions? Cathabella.
Rick, there's a term called passing shadows, and we mean by it, Kazuaki was talking about this, when you go through a difficult time, it's an opportunity to get through to the other side. So that's passing means it's like you're going through something to get to find your smile, you could say. Do you have that feeling sometimes? Does that mean anything special to you?
So, like, you're having a difficult time, and the process of getting past it is called passing shadows?
That's one of the ways to take it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that would pretty much describe my entire existence since birth, I would say.
I love it.
Came out, lots of shadows. Occasionally you can see the light, but then it just shadows after shadows after shadows, and I'm just trying to keep a good face on it, I think.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I think we all feel that.
Yeah. It's a year of passing really dark shadows, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
All right, Cathabella,
thank you. Rick.
Any other questions before we get going? I see no other hands, so I guess we've answered all the possible questions that there are. 5 open readers, then our featured reader, Jose, who's given me permission to also call him Tony. We'll see where I land on that. It's going to be fun. We might go back and forth. It's the same person, though, just so you know. So 5 open readers, and then Tony. Eric Paul Schaefer, you'll be on deck, our second reader. Please welcome our first reader, Christopher Bogart. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, Rick. I'm going to read 2 poems, and what I'm going to try to do for a while, since we have this daily burden to live with. I'm going to try to read from this book at least once. And this is basically a book of poetry about migration from Central and South America. This one is called Contrapunto. Sun sets, air cools, the back of the beast. Rattles scales, navigate turns, constant cries, infant hunger rise. Contrapunto to clacking steel wheels, clanging metal rings, composing cacophonous lullaby. Mother cradles child in crook of left arm, sways above fast freight. Beast vibrates in repeat rhythm, recurring melody. As darkness descends, exhaustion lulls fears. Mother's arms slacken in sleep. Baby slowly slips from maternal cradle, silently to fall upon the tracks. As darkness yields to dawn, keening cuts the morning air. Inconsolable, mother wails, contrapunto to clicking steel wheels, clacking metal rings. Maybe I should have told you in the beginning that I think it's 500,000 a year, come up on the back of freight cars throughout through Mexico. And the second one that I'm going to read is from this book, and it's called "It Seemed a Quiet Funeral." Benjamin Franklin's quote here is first: "They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporal safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." It seems a quiet funeral. It seems a quiet funeral, a dignified affair. Everything was by the book, with very little fuss. There were so few mourners, and those that were there were whimpering, their soft, broken sobs muffled in silken handkerchiefs. "Did you know him?" someone asked. "Not very well," another replied. "And you?" There was a pause. "I thought I did." A measured response. He had been ailing, it seemed, for only a brief space in time, a mere wink in history's eye. What paucity of liberty, what meager remains. Maybe he could be revived, I optimistically opined. Too late, I fear. They've already dug the grave. Thank you.
Christopher, thank you. Thanks for being willing to go first and opening up with important work for us to think about. And you set a serious tone for us. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we stick with it. Thanks for being here. Round of applause for Christopher Bogart. On deck, Ed Potastic. Please welcome now Eric Paul Schaefer. Hello, Eric.
Hey, Rick. Good to see you again. Aloha pehe oi oko. Yes, I'm here live from Kailua, and I'm about to read you a couple of really short poems about something that happened 70 years ago. All right. Oh, by the way, Matt, Tony. Hi. All right, here's one called Invisible Ink. At 11, I concealed my thoughts with invisible ink. No one will ever read my secrets, I thought. Then, realizing I had none, I wrote that down. Every word I wrote blended with the blank page and disappeared. I glowed with glee, and I still write with invisible ink. Nothing is more transparent than poetry, yet no words more intent on discovery. No lines conceal less, but no letters are more secure in plain sight, meant for all eyes only. Lemon juice and candle smoke are not the means that will make my meaning clear. No need to warm these words with a flame or read the lines in a special light. Everything's right before your eyes in black and white. The ink disappears when you see through the words. And now I got a poem. I just wanted to mention, if you guys haven't been, oh, hi, everybody. Look at that. That's so nice. Thank you. The Barong is like the king of the good spirits in Bali. And looks kind of like a panther, kind of like a lion, kind of like a little Pekingese dog, but bigger. Anyway, I just thought you should know that since I mentioned it in the first few lines. This poem's called I Am All That's Left of My Living. A painting of the Barong, a local god of good luck, purchased in a little shop in Bali, is gone, lost in a move from the Okinawa apartment to another island. And now I barely remember those bold colors I remember then were glorious. I remember a turtle on the path behind the house on Missoula Road. We scared each other in our own ways, yet the path is forgotten. I remember leaping from behind the front door to surprise my father, and I did, but I don't recall what happened next. I remember shipping a watercolor of Shuri Castle to Maui, and though the box arrived, the art disappeared in the postal inspection, and all I remember is that the walls were scarlet and maybe some dragons on the roof. I remember gazing up into a nice lady's face as she made sounds with her mouth that must have been language sounds, just what that sounds like before one has language. I remember a swarm of wasps that stung me 18 times, and I even remember looking skyward, seeing winged bodies and legs crawl across my eyes. But I've forgotten the later plucking of stingers. I remember Lahaina, wacky, brilliant sidewalks in sun, but the streets and pizza parlors are lost to me and to everyone else now. I remember the touch, even the taste, of the first tongue, not mine, to ever enter my mouth. But I wonder where the wonder went. And I simply do not remember years, solid 365-day chunks of a past I surely lived through, because here I am. But those minutes and moments built from those minutes are long and gone. Today, I think, in this sunlight and under these clouds, most of what I am is just lost, unknown even to me. Yet I, whoever that is, am still, whenever that is, here, wherever that is. Mahalo.
Eric, thank you so much for your memories, your poems, and for making us all jealous that you are in Hawaii and the rest of us are God knows where else, but it's not. It's, my God, you probably haven't even had dinner yet. You know what I'm saying? Very good. Thanks for being here. Round of applause for Eric Paul Schaefer. On deck, Ike Waltz. Please welcome now Ed Potastic. Hello, Ed. Not sure where Ed has gone. So we will move on, I guess, and say on deck is Martina Robles Gallegos. And Ike Waltz, you are up next in the chain. So let's hear it for Ike Waltz. Hi, Ike.
Hi. Brothers, sisters, I am but naked. Naked, a word exposed by wintertime, but it is, so mark my word, cold. Yes, and I stand naked, and that in front of you. Yes, and you stand naked too, and that in front of me. Yes, I see how you see. Yes, it takes time to be what you are looking for. All naked, you and me. Yes, so I am told we were all young, never too old. Always starkest naked in the begin, but ending refreshingly bold. Yes, I came to see America the beautiful, naked from sea to shining sea, and all the mountains at their naked peaks welcome the immigrants, naked, who came to find, naked, who came to see. Yes, happily I can say, men thinken pants down every day, my beloved foggy life anyway, if you met my naked wife. Yes, I am naked, lucky to be in front of you. Yes, you are naked, lucky to be in front of me. Yes, we are all kind of naked. Wherever you are, at home, on the street, even on Zoom, naked truth, you will see, you will be. Yes, let's begin with me and believe it when you are naked, eyes wide open, and we all will finally see naked you, naked me. Yes, oh yes, where nature reigns naked, human absurdity turns insignificant. No tyrant of one's own mind, not even a bikini missing the point, and a butt exposed is lovely, you may find. Somebody wrote, and I quote, "It's easy to take off all your clothes and have sex. People do it all the time, but opening up your soul to someone, letting them into your spirit, thoughts, fear, future hopes, dreams. Now that's being naked," somebody said. Oh, you glorious elite of the decadent mind, you always find a way kissing your timely cleansed behind. But no, my friends, no, no, no. This cannot be about these bloody naked wounds or my chosen God. I dare to please by exposing me. Yes, brother, sister, it is so easy to pretend. Just understand, if you are naked, you even can't stand your own ground. Just see the perversity of it all, where butt naked is only a joyful game, indulging eroticism by the lucky of us. So who really cares? Well, look at some of the popular wars we fight: war on hunger, war on superiority, drugs, cancer, crime, immigration, war on whatever. But there's no war on homelessness. Why? Because there is no money to be made. Because it's a complicated issue, as of always, so too as of late. And in meanwhile, if you are homeless, you are actually really stark as naked. Let's not forget, being homeless means nakedness brutally exposed, means you will be so cold and freeze, and without a warming bed, you are dying, or sadly at best, you are already an ice-cold statistic of last night's butt naked dead. I'm naked in front of you, and you are naked in front of me. So let's not forget that you, and so is your personalized selfish God. And yes, he is naked too. Yes, when that brutally exposed naked faces, truth and nudity shivers so barely wrap inside our cozy supermarket clothes. Don't look at me. Don't point the finger at me. Yes, I am covered in my warming golden fleece, whilst nudity, my friend, is defined in the eyes of the beholder. Being naked remains to be the ice-cold truth. Thank you.
Ike, it may be the tequila talking, but I really enjoyed the line, "and the butt exposed is lovely." So thank you for that. and that revealing poem, as it were. Good to hear it. Another round of applause for Ike Waltz. Thank you, Ike. We've got two more readers, and then our featured reader, José Alcántara. Julian Matthews, you're on deck. Please welcome now Martina Robles Gallegos. Hello, Martina.
Hello, thank you. I have two. Same theme, I guess. The first one has like some Spanish phrases. La Frontera. I heard exciting things about crossing La Frontera when people return from El Norte. So I imagined a great golden magical wall. To me, La Frontera was an impenetrable wall, a dream. I began to wonder about La Frontera, and my thoughts touched it ever so gently. I wondered about people who got to the other side and brought back great stories. A few, however, told stories of horror and despair they endured before crossing La Frontera. Yet a few others shared more exciting stories of easy earned money, cars, homes, and other luxuries life in El Otro Lado offered that they could neither find nor get back home. Norteños' stories caused audiences to drool, and some were easily convinced to travel and chose the frontera over family. Now it is my mom's turn to seek the dream. She'd always said she'd never go to El Norte, but fate would have it otherwise. Before I knew it, we were on our way, and it was a long 3-day bus ride. Suddenly, my mom told me, "We are here." "Where are we?" I asked. "We've arrived. This is La Frontera." "You call this Frontera? Where's the wall?" But I guess there was no need for words. Fronteras are just imaginary barriers that cause separation, and much sorrow. El Otro Lado is where my mother rests, her eternal dream in the land of dreams. Okay. Next one. We are no flock of sheep. Your melting pot is boiling over. The superpower is crumbling down fast. The world now owns America. Foreign money pours in every which way. Lawlessness is the most common trend now, and is coming from every corner of the country, but only select groups make the news. We all express our public rage and pain, but unless we rise and raise our voices, pain remains. Loud voices should be followed with a vote. We have all been thrown into this melting pot mainstream population will not accept. We are individuals with different hues trying to survive in an upstream world. Every morning we go out and labor so heartless fools can call us criminals. You have your rapists right under your nose. Criminals look away from the mirror. We are neither your melting pot nor your toxic salad bowl. We may never earn $1 million, but what we do earn, we earn with honor. We value our family and nature, and we respect and honor what both provide. We'd rather not follow people blindly, but instead we listen, watch, and learn. We then know who not to vote for. Our votes won't go to those who preach hatred. Such votes come from sheep following the blind, and we are neither your woolly sheep nor blind. Oh, that's it. Thank you. Did I read the other one? Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Martina. Well done. Thank you for all of that. I always thought of the salad bowl theory as a more honest assessment of America versus the melting pot, which some of us grew up learning about just because of the Schoolhouse Rock cartoon. But I guess there's another side even to separating the cucumbers from the onions for their own distinct flavors. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your poems and perspective. Thank you for being here. Round of applause for Martina Robles Gallegos. One more reader, and then our featured reader, José Alcántara, Julian Matthews. You're up.
Hi. Ever after. His aftershave, her aftertaste. Lazy afternoons, crazy evenings, after dinner, laughter after drinks, doing our thing after come, the afterglow after the fire, the embers, after the cracks, the split, after the rain, the shower, after the tears, face reality, after it's over, forgive after the fail, rise after the pain, renew after the break, self-care. After all, love yourself. After, 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 after. Find my ever afters high among the rafters of this broken house, on a lone bench in the park, in a car in the dark, on a raft out at sea. After the dust settles, live again. After a while, dream again. Afterwards, write. After words, sing. Thank you. That's it.
Julian, thank you so much. Great to hear you, if not see you tonight. I hope you're doing okay. Thank you for your poem. Round of applause for Julian Matthews. All right, so on deck after our feature is the collab tonight, which will include Jackie, Cathabella, and pinch hitting Denise. That is, Denise is pinch hitting. No one is pinch hitting Denise, if that makes sense. Anyway, our featured reader tonight is José Alcántara. José is a poet one of whose poems got sent to me in email one morning, thanks to the good folks at Rattle Magazine. Knocked me off my socks, and I was still in bed, so I wasn't even wearing socks. So I had to put the socks on in order for them to get knocked off. I invited Jose to read on the strength of reading that poem, and thankfully he said yes. He's the author of the book The Bitten World, which came out in 2022 on Tebutbach Press, which is a press from here in Southern California that's been around for a while and has done a lot of great things. This is really interesting. He's worked as a bookseller, a mailman, an electrician, a commercial fisherman, a baker, a carpenter, a studio photographer, a door-to-door salesman, and a math teacher. So I'm hoping if for whatever reason, if people aren't interested in your poetry, Tony, they can still contact you for any of these services, because it sounds like you bring quite a lot to the table. Tony's work has appeared in a bunch of great places, including the American Poetry Review, American Life in Poetry, the Harvard Review, Plowshares, the Southern Review, and others. He's won awards. He's a poet coming to us from right here in Southern California, or maybe Western Colorado, and mysteriously wherever he happens to pitch his tent. I guess we don't know where he is right now, but maybe we'll find out. I'm excited that you're here, Jose. Please welcome our featured reader, Jose Alcántara.
Thank you, Rick. Hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Yep. All right, good. Newton's bad apple. Gravity is my enemy. It's everybody's enemy. You just don't know it until you throw your back out, until you suddenly discover how often you drop things, a sock, your car keys, toothbrush, credit card, something that you must bend over to pick up, that you can't just kick under the couch. It's only then that gravity unsheathes its poison blade, stabbing you in the back like all cowards do, slicing the steel down your legs or up between your shoulder blades. And though you may wish it were so, gravity does not want you dead. It loves having you around, loves playing the game, knowing that despite your vigilance, despite your slow and calculated movements, that soon you will drop your fork, your phone, a bar of soap, and gravity, with the cold, infinite patience of the cosmos, will be waiting. So that's my disclaimer poem, because it's that poem's a couple days old, and that's why I'm standing up, because it hurts to sit. It hurts to do most anything. So if you see me grimace during the reading, it's not I'm reacting to my own poetry or someone else's poetry, it's because I'm getting stabbed in the back. Anyway, thank you, Rick, for inviting me. I had never, honestly, I'd never heard of Cobalt Poets. I am in Southern California right now, but most of my life has been in Colorado and on the East Coast, and then a little bit out of the country. But when I had the invite, I went on and I checked out a recording of a previous reading, and I was impressed by two things. One, that seemed like you guys had fun, which I think Rick is a major part of that, making it a fun experience. And I was impressed by the quality of the open mic poetry, which isn't always the case in all Zooms that one attends. And speaking of that, Julian, that was amazing. And Ike, I want to thank you, because I tend to stress not when I'm actually reading, but trying to choose what to read. And your poem about being naked made me realize it doesn't matter what I'm choosing to read. The goal is that hopefully I will get naked before you at some point today. I may fail, but that's what I'm going to try and do. So these first two poems, because that was the disclaimer poem, that didn't count. These first two, I've read it before at Zooms, and some of the people on here have seen me read it before. So these two, I've heard them, so I apologize. But after these two, most of the rest of ones have never been read before. And these two poems also have something in common, in that the people that kind of inspired them are here on the Zoom. So this first poem is called "To a Friend Who Does Not Believe in God," and the friend alluded to in the poem is here. They shall remain nameless unless they want to identify themselves. To a friend who does not believe in God. Neither do I. But yesterday, in the hospital, for 2 hours, I held the hand of a dying woman, my friend's grandmother, 94, barely intelligible and in unrelenting pain. Every few seconds, she slurred what could only be, "Help me, help me, help me," over and over. Nothing we did worked. Not water, not raising or lowering the bed, not massage, nothing but canned pineapple. The little piece we would place in her mouth. The chewing something she could do. The juice a blessing on her dry tongue. But all too soon the pain bit back down. The moaning, the grimace, the help me. The human remembering the animal. Suffering and more suffering. Until my friend placed her phone next to her grandmother's ear and played Alan Jackson singing, "What a Friend We Have in Jesus," when from the first chord on the guitar, her body stilled, her face went slack. For 2 minutes, she went somewhere else, somewhere quiet, beautiful, free of pain. We played it again and again. And when she fell asleep, when her breathing deepened, her mouth and eyes still open, when the Furies stopped their gorging, we were so grateful, not to God, but to her faith, to her belief in something better, something kinder and with fewer teeth. I'm drinking Lambrusco. It's a manly drink. I encourage you all to have it. So this next poem is written about someone in the who's here tonight. And when I read it, most people think it's about me, but it's not about my life. It's someone else. It's called Divorce. He has flown headfirst against the glass and now lies stunned on the stone patio, nothing moving but his quick beating heart. So you go to him, pick up his delicate body, and hold him in the cupped palms of your hands. You have always known he was beautiful, but it's only now, in his stillness, in his vulnerability, that you see the miracle of his being, how so much life fits in so small a space. And so you wait, keeping him warm against the unseasonable cold, trusting that when the time is right, when he has recovered both his strength and his sense of up and down, he will gather himself, flutter once or twice, and then rise, a streak of dazzling color against the slowly lifting sky. So this poem is also inspired by a friend, but not a friend who's in attendance, as far as I know. Anyway, I can't see everybody, but I doubt he's here. But he lives in Bellingham, and I go to visit him every once in a while. And when I'm up there, mostly I'm helping him work on his put in a garden. But the other thing I like to do is he lives about a mile from the water, and so I ride a bike down to the bay, and I sit there and I watch the boats go in and out. And so this poem was written sitting there at Bellingham Bay. Heading out to sea. Every boat carries another boat in case the first boat sinks. Imagine if you could do that for yourself. Imagine the second body, deflated, folded up, tucked away in your back pocket, ready to be whipped out when the first body fails. It would have to be smaller, made of cheaper materials, but also lighter, more willing to go with the flow. This is it, the final body, the one you accept just as it is, never worrying about how it looks compared to other bodies, the one you cling to with everything you have, in love with its rubbery flesh, its tendency to bounce off obstacles, its precious fetid breath. So one of the things I wanted to do, besides getting naked, I didn't know I wanted to get naked, but I'm going to start that process right now because we're at this, what I want to do is have something be fun. So I have to do a costume, a wardrobe change. And so what I want, and because I'm going to read some political poems, so I need you to see my, I don't know if you can read, it's my same shit, different hat shirt. So I'm going to wear that for my political poems. And this one is called Man Date. Epigraph. The American people have given us a mandate. Donald J. Trump. He wears his best orange suit, has his nails done, his tan sprayed. He wants to appear strong, but not too strong. He's not sure if he should lead or follow. He brings little gifts for his lover. A bit of Ukraine wrapped in a bow, a bit of Gaza under glass. He knows that nothing says romance like tough talk, like long straight missiles. That nothing says love like lifting sanctions, like giving the go-ahead on genocide. He's nervous. He doesn't want to cry. He's never had a man date before, and he's afraid he might blow it. So Tim Green has got me thinking about political poems. I tend to write a fair number of them, and he's got me thinking about the kinds I write and why I write them, and what's the point of writing a political poem if you're just preaching to the choir, which is something I've done many times. So this is a political poem that I'm hoping does something different, like moves it a little. And I have a few of those that I might read tonight, but this one's called No Kings. And I attended the most recent No Kings demonstration in Colorado with a friend who's also here on the Zoom, but no kings. During protests, I always watch the dogs, how they achieve what we only aspire to, loving everything and everyone, no matter the color of your fur, the length of your legs, the timber of your bark. Big dogs chasing small dogs chasing big dogs, all of them taking turns, baring their bellies, sticking their noses in each other's butts. My dog, the world sure is beautiful. I just want to lick it all over. By the way, I first wore this shirt in Texas, and I'm still here to talk about it. My friend bought it for me, by the way. So this one's called Yes Kings, right? Fair and balanced. If I do a No Kings poem, I need to do a Yes Kings poem. So this is called Yes Kings. Yes, please, more and more. Especially the orange ones, the ones that at a glance you can tell are toxic. The ones that love tropical places but migrate north to Washington and beyond. I know they taste bad, but some things like kaopectate or oysters are just hard to swallow. Yes to those who fly thousands of miles, not for themselves, but for the next generation. Every time I see one fluttering on the breeze or perched on a milkweed, I can't help believing the world is good and kind. More kings, more viceroys. Long live the giant swallowtails. Long live the monarchs. So what a lot of my poetry has been doing lately is shifting, it's trying to de-center the human perspective. And there's a book I read recently, it came out just a couple months ago, called The Arrogant Ape, The Myth of Human Exceptionalism, The Myth of Human Exceptionalism and Why It Matters. And the thing with what it seems to me that this what we have as a species have done is kind of separated ourselves out and raised ourselves above, and it seems to be responsible for most of all the problems that we have. And Trump just seems to have taken that one more level. He's raised himself above everybody else and said the only thing that matters is what's good for me. So I think part of what I've been doing in my poetry is starting to shift and trying to get other perspectives from other life forms that we share this planet with. And so this poem is kind of moving in that direction. Same elements, same hunger. I walk through a meadow no differently than a star floats through the heavens. Not because I'm particularly luminous, but because we share the same guts. A flower blooms in a field, a tumor blooms in a lung. From the overlook, an entire town huddles between two dead trees. A mountain vanishes inside its own breath. My friend is too sick to get out of bed, something broken that only her own voice can fix. Last night, the rain fell hard, thunder, lightning, heavy winds. This morning, the ground so soft, the robins barely have to pull. And this one continues in that same vein, and then I'll kind of come back to the people after I've left the people for a little bit. This one's called Introducing the Next G. And what I mean by that is, we've had 3G and then 4G and then 5G, and I have no idea what G we're on right now, but this is introducing the next G. I carry a sequoia in my car, in cone form, in that hollow space behind the stick shift where I toss the extra coins. On rough roads, it rolls around, rattling against the plastivinyl confines. I see it whenever I plug in my phone, that wooden golf ball next to the charging port. What happens if I connect the sequoia? How long will it take to charge? Can I make really big calls? Can I surf the World Wide Web, the real one, underground, that connects everything to everything? I want you to join my friends and family plan. Every one of you, everywhere. All you need is a sequoia, or a hummingbird, or a pebble. Hold it to your ear and listen. It's trying to tell you something. I have no idea what time it was because I forgot to start my phone, but I think I'm going to do 3 more poems unless, Rick, you tell me not to. So this one's moving back to the people. This one's for my friend Heidi, who's here and who put something in the chat about Ike's naked poem about reading John Donne. So I'm going to check that out when I'm done. But this is called Yoga Pants. Her legs are covered in stars, in pinpricks, pulsars, supernovas. All that light leaks up her torso, into her shoulders, her neck, her tongue, the beams spilling out in conversations with gelato scoopers and cheesemongers, bus drivers and ticket takers. She's everybody's favorite. Like a meteor, she blazes across their skies. People make wishes in her wake, while she buys red and yellow flowers, places them in the middle of the table, like slow exploding fireworks that light our dinners for days. So my second to last poem I'm going to read is from my book. It's a pretty old poem. It's one of the ones that or a very early poem that I wrote. And the reason I'm choosing to read it is because when you write political poems, there's this sort of tension of, oh, who am I to say I have some truth? So this is a poem where I show my ignorance. It's called Keith Brubaker's Hands. Keith Brubaker's hands were always dirty, covered in a brown crust that grossed the rest of us out. I can see him sitting a few seats down from me in the front of Mrs. Mockmer's fourth grade class. This was farm country, central Pennsylvania, and while the rest of us slept in, Keith was up milking cows, or slopping hogs, or digging post holes, or whatever it is that farmers do. He didn't talk much and missed a lot of school. I can see his empty desk as clearly as I can see his dirty hands. We didn't think much of him, shunned him really, figuring he was adult. Years later, in college, I worked as a baker all night long, and after, went straight to class, molecular biology, where I often would fall asleep, flour gunked under my nails, stinking of yeast. I never once thought of Keith during those years. It's only now, past the age of 50, trying to go a garden, my hands blackened with dirt, that I wish Keith was here, handing me an onion or a trowel. Thank you all. I have one last poem, and it's one I've never read before. There's lots of reasons why I shouldn't ever read it, but read it I will. Because one of the things that I was thinking when I was trying to decide what to read is that I would, if I was going to a poetry reading as a reader, or not as a reader, but as just someone listening, I would like beauty. I would like it to be fun. I would like to be challenged emotionally, feel something move in my body, and I would like to be challenged in my mind. So this is one that's if you're going to write a poem and read a poem that's going to challenge someone else's thinking, then you risk the high probability that they're going to disagree with you. So there's much to be disagreed with in this poem. I'm not even sure I agree with everything in this poem, but I'm going to read it anyway. But there's one term that you have to be familiar with for the poem to make sense. So and a lot of you probably already know this, but I don't know for sure that everybody does. So the concept that you need to be familiar with is the righteous among the nations. So the righteous among the nations is the term that Yad Vashem, the Israeli institution whose mandate it is to serve as the memorial for the Holocaust, the 6 million victims of the Holocaust, but also the people who, non-Jewish people, who risked their lives to save Jewish people during the time of the Nazi deprivations. So the title of my poem is The Righteous Among the Jews. Someday we will build monuments to them. Someday we will write books about them, plant trees, make movies, compose operas, recounting their courage and compassion, their fortitude, how they stood alone while so many others remained silent, or worse. A rabbi who smuggled food and medicine into Bet Hanun, a shipping magnate who secreted hundreds of young children in his ship's holds, bringing them safely to France, an IDF lieutenant who chose prison over mass murder. On the 50th anniversary of the end of the genocide, from all over the world, survivors and their descendants will gather in their honor. An old Jewish woman walking with a cane, an old Jewish man pushed in a wheelchair by the granddaughter of one who died. We salute them, these brave scattered few. They were the best of us, candles in the cave of a darkening time. Thank you.
Tony, wow. I guess I have to start out by saying I also have never heard of this reading, so I understand that being a Southern California resident, you might not have either. That's what I wanted to say first, but because I had that thought on the tip of my tongue, but that last poem blew me away. So I'm not sure how well that funniness just came across, but I certainly appreciated it. There was so much to appreciate in what you read for us right from the beginning. Gravity does not want you dead. I found very encouraging as someone who's constantly battling with the laws of physics. I really appreciated that you did your homework before coming to this reading. I don't know how many people check out a reading and its recording before showing up. And I know that the things that you said about what you saw here are appreciated by the people who come here on a regular basis, and certainly by me. I was in the Emilia-Romagna area of Italy a couple summers ago, 3 summers ago maybe at this point, and I had Lambrusco and felt very manly, so I completely understand that statement for sure. Rarely do we get costume changes in readings either. That's just a whole other level that you brought to us. So overall, I just want to say thank you very much for the beauty, the fun, the challenge, and for getting naked for us. You gave us all of those things. I'm pasting some stuff in the chat, and I'm going to share the screen to show the broadside that I made for the poem that you sent me. There it is. Folks can download this now if they would like at the Cobalt Poets website at the link I pasted into the chat, and it's 11 by 17 print that you can look at on your device, print out whatever you would like to do. This is how we compensate our featured poets. We ask that you grab one of these and consider quote, purchasing it or tipping our featured reader for their reading. Today, a Venmo ID for Tony is pasted in the chat, and that's how you can do that. If you're the type of person who had a real live in-person reading, would throw some money in the hat, the box, the envelope, whatever it is for the featured reader, Venmo is how you do that today. You can visit Tony on the web at josealcantarapoetry.com. Links right there is in the chat, and there's also a link to his book, The Bitten World. So lots of good ways that you can support and thank our featured poet. Tony, again, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed that quite a bit.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I had a good time, and here's to many more Lambruscos and many more poems. Thank you.
Indeed. All right. Round of applause for our featured reader, Tony Alcántara, also known as Jose in certain circles, like on the cover of his book. I'll quickly mention before we get to the rest of tonight's open reading that next week our featured reader will be MC Mohagani Magnatek. I hope, anyway. We had her scheduled for a couple of months ago. They got sick that day and weren't able to join us, and so we rescheduled for tomorrow and for next week, and hopefully that will all work out. That's the poet, the Alaskan poet, whose work I came across 2 summers ago when I was in Alaska, and their poem was being broadcast inside the Alaska Museum in Anchorage. So pretty cool connection for me, and I hope that it's all going to work out and that they will be with us next week. That leads us now to the rest of tonight's open reading. Here's who I have in this order on the list. The collab will be coming up next. Jackie Cathabella with Denise tonight. Then Mr. Tezozomok, Martin Parker, Denise Dumars, Heather Romero Kornblum, Bill Gaines, Matt Daly, Sean Mahoney, Michael G. Hickey, Jennifer Elise Wang, Carrie Cox, Cheryl Latif, Ed Potastic, Dig Wayne, Heidi Casa, and me. If anyone else is here who'd like to be added to the list, send me a message in the chat. If you've already done that and somehow I missed it, my apologies. Friendly reminder for everyone, 2 poems maximum. Less is more is the suggested time limit. We got a healthy sized list, so keep that in mind as you're reading. So on deck is Mr. Tezozomok. Please welcome now the collab, Jackie Cathabella, with special voice guest Denise.
Thank you. Here we go. Passing shadows. We start with Kazuaki. Is the art of divination a loner's everyday companion? Jackie,
flapping away with my daydream. From above, the shadow of a raven as flat as its croak.
As it's croak.
I don't know how to.
That's pretty good of a croak. Okay, Denise, here's Chris. Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear? Okay. Let me. Shadows. The blinding light of our edges. Time capsules.
Wonderful.
Your voice kept going in and out.
So,
I don't know why. Should I just read it?
yeah, why don't you just read it?
All right. Passing shadows, the blinding light around all our edges. These time capsules. Sudden selfie. My surprising shadow covered with fallen camellias. I shiver in sunlight. Jackie, read Chris.
Somewhere beyond my limitations, it doesn't matter how much I desire to go.
Wow. Want to read Kazuaki? Wounded storyteller. This is Kazuaki. Wounded storyteller with his map or compass no longer useful. Already started to rebuild a new one. Jackie.
Stepping into the dappled shade of a shedding tree, my shadow too small to catch our holy lies.
I love that. Keeping up with myself. A passing shadow is my own. I laugh on my way to somewhere. All right. Jackie, do you want to read Peter? Peter is our favorite, but he can't be here at this time. Then we take turns.
Passing shadows, true life for those in Plato's cave, ignorant of the makers of images on the wall.
Yeah. And Jackie.
A fallen leaf curled into its lazy shadow, this reluctance to follow the wind. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, everyone. And here we have the wind in person.
Shakuhachi, as a commonly played Japanese flute. This particular one is very old. I don't know how old, maybe 18th century.
Let's show them the inside. The
Sure.
wind, does the wind always look like that inside?
But
Ooh.
it's that certainly was not original. It wasn't painted
Amazing.
hundreds of years ago, but it received that. I like it.
Yeah.
Still works.
Very good. Thank you all very much, Jackie, Cathabella, Rick, and a little bit Denise. Sorry, the sound.
Yeah, thank you for cheering us on always, Denise.
Yeah,
I really
sometimes when
appreciate
there's
it.
multiple people speaking, Zoom will make a choice about who to listen to. So, Denise, I would not worry. I'm sure your sound is going to be fine when it's your turn.
Okay.
So there you go. Thank you all very much. Round of applause for the collab, Jackie, Cathabella, Rick, and Denise.
Thank you.
Denise.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for bringing so many voices to us. On deck, Martin Parker, please welcome now Mr. Tezozomok.
All right, folks, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, I'm going in with 2 taps for the Empire. You ever hear a phrase so clean it cuts your tongue on the way out? They call it cold phrase, clinical phrase, glossary of empire kind of phrase. 2 shots, center mass, hammer, then hammer, not accident, intent. On the Frontera Azul, they remix it into a bedtime story for bureaucrats, eliminating threats, narco-terrorists, all that political telenovela basura, then a 5-minute pause, or 20, long enough for a prayer to stand up and get shot. Then the segundo golpe, aim for the wounded, the medics, the ones foolish enough to believe in rescue. Societal decapitation, the think tanks say, cruelty with a grant proposal. Then I fall asleep and land inside some ghost mansion belonging to Eddie Van Halen. Yeah, ese Eddie, that Eddie, maestro of velocity, king of the 6-string stampede. He calls me in, me, a border dust in my lungs and too many ancestors whispering in my bones. He wants consejo. Hey, Eddie, cabrón, for real? You want consejo from me? The man who used his fingers like a capo, who turned guitar strings into piano run, who invented eruption as a way of life, now wants to know how to live? He asked me, how do I make life meaningful? So I look at him, this ghost of a gringo virtuoso, and I say, slow down the bars, man. All that speed, all that shine, all that need to outrun your own echo. It was a flaw dressed in leather pants. Slow down the controlled pair, slow down the hammered pair. You already played piano on electric air. You don't owe the grave another riff. You don't owe the world another eruption. Eddie goes quiet, the thoughtful kind of quiet that turns into pendejo if long. Here I am, a map of the borderland stitched from scars and memory, teaching a dead white rock star how to breathe. The irony tastes like diesel, the irony tastes like dry blood. Then the mansion starts shaking, the guitars turning to dust, the whole dream begins to feel like an autopsy. Because I can feel it, the tension between artistic tap and the war tap. The difference between creation and state-sponsored destruction, intent, that tiny word, that fractured line. Eddie's intent was to create, the drone's intent was to kill. And the lawyers in the White House polished that intent until cruelty looks legal, but the international law is still clearly war crime, because the people who run to help are protected, because the second blast is never a mistake. And then it hits me. Algebra in the marrow, none of this is real. Eddie's soul long, people in the Gulf of Mexico double tapped into the silence of empire. We're never coming back. So remember this, the guitar solo can sound like cascading stars, but the speed of empire is only the sound of 2 bodies falling. Eruption sounds beautiful when you do not understand the physics. But the twin detonations sound like an indictment when you finally do. That's it. I'm only going to read one piece.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for that piece, Mr. Tezosomek. Am I pronouncing your name right there?
Tesosomok.
Tesosomok. I'll try to be better, but you're going to have to come back and read more so I have more opportunities to do so. Thanks for being here tonight. Round of applause for Mr. Tesosomok. On deck, Denise Dumars, please welcome Martin Parker. Hi, Martin.
Hello again, Rick. I'll start here with a short poem called Satin Memories. With extreme apologies to Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues and John Lees of Barclay James Harvest. Nights in white satin have now reached the end. Letters unwritten I always meant to send. Beauty beyond what these eyes can stand. Memories of failing to walk hand in hand. But oh, how I love you still. And that's sort of a weird, cryptic autobiographical take on the Moody Blues song Nights in White Satin, and the fact that the Barclay James Harvest was a reporter said they called them the poor man's Moody Blues. So they wrote a song called Poor Man's Moody Blues, which was a rewriting of Nights in White Satin, as close as they could get it without getting sued, apparently. So anyway, for my second also short poem, a few weeks ago, I mentioned that I was writing a novel that the chapters start with poems written in the language of the planet the protagonist lands on and has to learn. So this is a short poem, another of those short poems. First in the native language. Nalgo vim nalgaja, tavalbo wakbile, nibo gendi galgo, givange bo vale, nibo vezdigwanda, navalgo zigjigbo vale. Mountains tower above, dry land shimmers far below, hiding ancient secrets. And thank you very much. And I'll put my usual links in the chat where you can find my wreath card and t-shirts and everything as usual. And I have a calendar out now if anybody's interested.
Everyone needs to know what day it is. Martin, thank you so much for your work and all of that. Thanks so much for being here. Round of applause for Martin Parker. On deck, Heather Romero Kornblum, please welcome Denise Dumars. Hi, Denise.
Okay, I'm going to read two short ones tonight. Hopefully my sound is better. This one is called Edges. Edges seem permanent, but they are ever frayed, a blending presence like the one in the other room that moves when no one's there. You say your edges must be sharp and true. Fine, have your illusions, but I saw that shadow walk where there is no shadow. The edges of this book are frayed. And this one, I know it's not winter until the 21st, but since it's 57 degrees and that's cold for California, I'm going to read this one. It's called Wolf Moon. We do have a full moon on Thursday. Wolf Moon. So this is winter now. We've talked of this before. We have no scent for this. It is only an almanac that brings us this knowledge. We are at the mercy of forces badly understood. In short, I'm voting with the wolves on dark and cold and fear of night and silver in all things. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. It is freezing in Southern California when it gets to 57. I don't even want to go inside. I mean, that's how cold I am. Thank you so much for your work. Thanks for being here. Round of applause for Denise Dumars. Well done. On deck, Bill Gaines. Please welcome now last week's featured reader, Heather Romero Kornblum. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Rick. How you doing? I guess we're all frozen in Southern California. Yeah. Well, I'm going to read a couple poems. This one's called What I Broke Out of. I said everything was just an empty shoebox to you. When they contained gifts I lovingly contemplated. I'm not surprised I was shelved in some city of ruins in your brain. There is something still alive in this old life of yours. I pick up the pieces, make it beautiful. So that's poem number 1. And this is poem number 2. Husband. When I first called you husband, you were wearing rented patent leather tuxedo shoes you ultimately forgot to return. I hoarded shoes, things I could wear regardless of shifts in my body. When I gave away yours, the leather sneakers from Land's End, the denim canvas toms, your Clarks I was so proud to buy you for work, your Puma suedes, the speed cats you coveted and said you didn't need, but I got you anyway. I said you were a ghost. After 10 years, I couldn't feel your presence. The miles we walked together erased. When out of the closet came to haul away the furniture, I was already boxing up your pears. I said no with sadness when they asked if you were coming back for them. They ultimately refused to carry the furniture down the flights of stairs. But they took your shoes, some new in box. I was so convinced you were dead and that I would never see you walk again. So, thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Fantastic job as always. Glad that you're here with us on the regular. We've all got shoes that we forgot to return. For most of us, it's only bowling shoes, though. Heather, thanks for being here. Round of applause for Heather Romero Kornblum. On deck, Matt Daly. Please welcome now. Where did Bill go? Looks like Bill is not here. All right, well, we're going to move on then. Sean Mahoney, you are on deck. Please welcome now Matt Daly. Hello, Matt.
Hi there. Thanks, everybody. It's beautiful to hear your readings. I'm going to try to read two here from Wyoming, where it's a different kind of cold. Little America. The red exit sign is Country Western. The logo for the hotel is a happy penguin. The restroom placard indicating men half blocks the portrait of an indigenous person. It's all very Catlin-esque. It's upholstered here with flowers, there with plaid and stripes. It's another Sunday morning in the American West, before the $35 a plate buffet brunch I'll miss. So much smoke and diesel exhaust, so much to say that the wind washes out. Paint needs to be laid on thick if you want hues to last at the train-themed restaurant down the block. The hotel's all brick and glass and want. In the lobby coffee shop, two women talk about the laundry belonging to the men they're with, their relationships. The counter makes a border of the space between them, but they lean in nonetheless. They're at work, but not just yet. First, a little moment before the shift of camaraderie and complaint underneath the bright American overhead recessed lights, they dress in black and white. While they chat, they swipe. I hope they don't mind the hope I find in their fellowship. Monuments. We bungled our way westward, in and out of daylight savings and time zones, past vultures and old adobe and at least one place outside of time. Little milky windows framed little faces, perhaps children, but absent of laughter, pocked faces of hoodoos and cliff bands for the afternoon gusts to dust devil beside. Another landscape with all that sky. We drove on under thunderheads past Tuba City toward the brassy light of the coast. All that blue around and inside us, alive with updrafts and their avian implications. Our ordinary blood, surging ordinarily, as if any undammed river could still be running on from a season of thaw into summer heat, slaking cattle in arroyos, all lanky and mean, as if any river entwined with the Colorado since the first spring of every story might yet be able to receive the sea. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. Great poems. Welcome to Cobalt Poets. I hope you come back and read again for us. I'm definitely stuck with the line, though, that you're experiencing a different kind of cold. So wear a sweater and you'll be fine, I think. But we hope it all works out okay. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Matt Daly, first time here. On deck, we're going to try Bill Gaines again. Please welcome now Sean Mahoney. Hello, Sean.
Hi, Rick. Hello, everybody. I've got one for you tonight, but I have to give you a content warning ahead of time. This poem contains socks. Be that as it may. I lost count of the lonely people. All the socks I demolished during the event. I pace bedrooms and dining rooms, stroll bathrooms, hallways. I drag my feet. Nothing is open. People do not want to play this month, and maybe next too. I fetch mail, sweep back driveway, in socks, under dirty hair accompanied by teeth with snacks. How do you claim fake when we have phones? Like the Samsung S20 in neon pink, paired with super sexy boots from Blundstone. Gray sweats and hoodie now bundled for one low price of less than a kidney, more than a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. I was a foot and ankle model those years. Blue and orange anklets, fan mail, belly piercings, mock tattoos. I keep floors clean. Dragging feet seems like skating, core work. I do recall showering with socks once. Oh, the mess I left in the hall, like a swamp creature come home as a root vegetable. Water, water everywhere. Socks to mop, polish, sparkle slats with a stare like dancing. Shine windows, see where people, more people, fall out of love, fall out of each other. I lost count of the lonely people. I do know that the dogs disappeared many of the socks, ripped them and chewed holes. Were happy about us being with them each day, docile, somewhat neurotic, unsure of where we might find toilet paper and rice. Socks, still in service, bottomed with dog hair day after day, a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. Don't forget to hamper all the soiled. Impede, disrupt, curb, encumber, tax, traffic, bar. Deny me at the rim, my socked feet sneakered up, ready to rise and endorse. Sprint through years lost to streaming services and dime store novels. Loincloth Thor shining from the cover, leering Nordically at a bodice, a body packed into a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. Pass out drunk, with our socks still ankle high, flush with skin. A slight pinch on a vein is all it would take to release your clots. Thank you.
So apparently, all the socks we've been losing all these years, one at a time, have showed up in your
Don't
poem.
even go there. Not my dog's
I'm
fault.
already there. I've been there the whole time.
That's a threshold invasion, and I object. This is Orange County, Rick.
Um, are they leering Nordically out in your neighborhood?
Yes and no, sometimes.
Okay,
What
a
time of the
fair.
day are you asking about specifically?
It's a fair and balanced answer, and I appreciate it.
Ooh, that made me
Sean,
cringe. How could you say that?
I don't know how I can say anything, but yet it keeps happening. Sean, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Nice poem tonight. Round of applause for Sean Mahoney. On deck, Michael G. Hickey. Please welcome now Bill Gaines.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me? I am in my car on the road, but I've pulled over to read you two poems. This is called Exits. Oh, appropriate. It's called Exits. Uh, a nighttime cruise in the cradle of the commute is a chance to drink my favorite tunes. We share the drive, we share it all. Every glance at every sign, the same old exits we never take. And even though it's familiar as hell, there's something new tonight. Maybe the wonder is all in my head, and maybe it's already gone, but I will remember this easy drive home, out of the valley and over the plain. We may never sing these songs together again, but I will remember this drive. And the next one is called Destinations and Bygones. Some globby, overbearing emotion pulls hard and yet eludes. The simple wants of an old man, the peace of day on a boat on water, rod in hand, good company too, so obvious yet so unclear. The mystery is the mission. Destinations are temporary, but bygones are forever. So live well, give chase, make play. End of piece.
Bill, thank you so much. Especially thank you for pulling over to read the poems. We've lost so many people just blindly driving and open micing at the same time.
That's why we have laws against poetry and driving at the same time.
Right. I appreciate your good citizenship in both of those areas and your poems tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
Quite welcome. I'm driving again now.
Okay, well then we're gonna hang up on you because we can't be the cause of your death. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Round of applause for Bill Gaines. On deck, Jennifer Elise Wang. Please welcome Michael G. Hickey. Hello, Michael.
Hi, everybody. Well, this is kind of about poets. Actually, it's a lot about poets. I'm just reading one piece. I like to take little nuggets out of like the newspaper and pervert them into something unrecognizable in terms of poetry. And this actually came from social media. And I know that at least some of you know about this. Okay, the title of the poem is An Easy Mistake to Make. This first part was on Twitter. This is real. I'm not making this up, I swear. Okay. In 2022, the following blew up on Twitter. It's a classified ad. 1-bedroom apartment, all utilities included, no smoking, no poets, available July 1st, 802-747-9094. A simple mistake, right? Poets for pets. But let's consider for a moment that maybe it really wasn't a typographical error at all. Maybe, just maybe, this particular apartment manager really did mean poets instead of pets. Maybe management was cool with a cobra or a big cat or a pet rat. Maybe really it was the poets, not the pets. They wanted to escape from the bards with their berets and perfumed cigarettes, their annoyingly high IQs, reckless sonnets of questionable rhyme and meter. They yell villanelles in the middle of the night, assonance, dissonance at all hours, tanked up on takas, hyped up on haikus. The damn poets are always suffering the angst and rage of a universe they inherently know they cannot save. Like the doctor who reassures the terminal patient that this condition is nothing that an expensive operation won't prolong. Bring all the pets you want, chimps, chinchillas, maybe a baby alligator or two, but God, save us from the damn poets. Save us from their fixed forms, their free verse, their never-ending search for what can never be found. Yes, prospective tenant, you can have a warthog or a parakeet. Hell, you can even smoke if you want to. But for God's sakes, you cannot be a poet, period. End of poem. You do know I love you all, though, right? Okay, I feel like I need to say that.
Sure. You know, when you said it harkened me back to Ike's poem, and the butt exposed is lovely, the line in that he said. So I just thought maybe now there's two exposed butts.
Well, Rick, can I just add really quickly? I called the number. This is a different number I used in the poem, right, to protect her identity. But I called the number, and she answered the phone. And I, like I said, I'm writing this poem, and we talked on the phone for like 15, 20 minutes. Her brother is a poet of some renown on the East Coast. Anyway, she told me that there was one guy who actually contacted her, I think it was by email, and said like, "Hey, lady, what the hell? What the F you got against poets anyway? You know, what's your problem?"
It's a good question that we should all be looking in the mirror and asking ourselves, I think, Michael. I also just one quick other thing before we get to our next poet. You have a book out called I think it's called Orgy at the Chinchilla Ranch. I think
Right.
that's the correct title.
And you
And
have
I
a
had
book
an
out called Distractions at the Caterpillar at the Caterpillar Orgy.
Disruption at the Caterpillar Orgy.
Disruption, sorry.
Just a short ebook that I put out, but which was the title of a poem I'd written. And our mutual friend Heidi Casa asked me if you and I were going to have beef because of our similar titles. And I don't know if you want to meet somewhere and beat the hell out of each other, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think we bring rubber chickens and haikus.
Great. Well, let's have our people compare calendars and we'll set that up.
It'd be like a duel.
Bok bok. Um, Michael G. Hickey, thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Michael. On deck, Carrie Cox, please welcome Jennifer Elise Wang. Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, so complete tonal shift from the last conversation. So yesterday was World AIDS Day, and even though our administration is not recognizing it, there's a lot of organizations here in the US who are, and one of them is Badger Pride, which did a queer history exhibit in Texas that included a section on AIDS history and also did a poetry event. And actually, the person who inspired this event wrote about one of the exhibits. So for my first poem, I'm gonna read her piece. It was in response to a letter from the AIDS activist, and I'm probably butchering their name, but it's Trifan Moore's Evelyn Lewid. And was the poet Delaney was inspired by the line specifically, "I'm not shopping for cemetery plots," for Trifan. A deep breath in that turns into a laugh, a sigh, then a sob, the shudder of tears for a struggle years before me and years after me, a struggle within me, a struggle to place yourself before someone vulnerable. Sorry, my text just rebooted itself. Um, a struggle to place yourself before someone vulnerable and sickly and weak and asking them to love you anyways, despite the cacophonous pearl clutching walls, despite immoral laws and lies on lies on lies, to say, I'm sick and I'm gay and I need your support like the air I breathe, because I don't plan on dying today. I don't anticipate the reaper's ossified kiss. I'm not shopping for cemetery plots. I'm looking for trust and love and life, more life than my body or the government thinks I'm owed. It's so tempting to stare into the darkest depths of your own despair, high alert for that skeletal hand reaching through. But if you do, you miss all the hands above you, warm and waiting to hold you and squeeze you back together, not forever, but for now, and now, and now, and now. In the steady, smooth pulse of that hand, I could feel myself being pulled the times before, time and time again, when we huddled together for warmth, for safety, for understanding, for love. Trifan lived longer than anyone could have thought they would. They said they'd fight, and they did, long enough to come out and live in their truth and to carry on the legacy of those who fought before and alongside them. Long enough that even after their death, I feel their hand reach out to me through the darkness like a beacon lighting the way to more life. Leave the cemetery alone for now, my darlings, and look forward and see how much more life there's left to live. And I'm going to put the link to the zine that this poem was published in, and that I've also got a piece in that was commissioned by Badger Pride. And so for my second piece, going back to kind of the subject of literal and hypothetical nakedness, this is my prose poem, Word Vomit. My guts are all over this page. Words that don't come out in conversation get buried deep inside my stomach until I eject them like a frog who has ingested a toxin. Maybe this is why I can't handle criticism. Your words cut into my flesh with a cosmetic surgeon's precision and intent. The original you is inadequate, so I will help you make it better. Maybe I will feel better about my words, but they suddenly seem ugly, insufficient, and all sorts of wrong. It's similar to the time my burlesque performance got the review. I wish she hadn't come back in the second act. I bear almost everything about myself, and it is rejected. Thus I quietly gather this mess of entrails, wipe away the dirt like the frog, and remember, when I published my first poem at 14, I wrote about my heart getting lodged in my throat. After over 20 years of forcing it out with my guts and then consuming the bitter thing like a cup of matcha prepared in a traditional Japanese tea house I fondly dream of, I recall that technically frogs don't vomit.
Well, you've been paying more attention to frogs than I have, Jennifer, so I'm going to have to take your word on that. I do have to clean up a lot of cat vomit. I bet you do too, periodically, hairball situations. Thank you for shifting the topic from the ridiculousness of Michael and my conversation to reminding us what this week is, and keeping that on our radar, important. And I guess you kind of shifted into frog vomit. So I don't know. I guess transitions are,
Yeah.
Everyone can do it. Thank you for being here. Round of applause for Jennifer Elise Wang.
Thank you.
On deck is Ed Potastic. I said Carrie Cox was on deck before, but she seems to have vanished. So Cheryl Latif, you are up now. Please welcome Cheryl Latif. Are you there, Cheryl? All right, we're betting 1,000 tonight. People dropping like flies. I hope not literally. We will move on then to say that Dig Wayne is on deck. Please welcome now Ed Potastic. Hello, Ed.
Hello, our wonderful hosts that deserve toast, they love the most, that goes coast to coast. And thank you, Tony, for your wonderful poetry. Hello, everyone. My name is Ed Potastic, feeling fantastic. Please, time you can join my rhyme for awful supply. I got two pieces, so I won't take too much time. My first piece is called A Favorite Song. A favorite song? Do you mean songs? I love them all. Dancing on this ball. One is Purple Rain, boogie in my brain. One is Little Red Corvette, lyrics tapping in my chest. One is Rock With You, moonwalking through the blue. One is Black and White, dancing in the twilight. One is Got the Music in You, hearts soaring right on through. One is Everybody Wants to Rule the World, feet want to twirl and swirl. The age of talent, where did it went? A time of catchy tunes, now it's screaming baboons. Where has the music go? Why is it repetitive and shallow? What happened to creativity, helping us boogie out of reality? It might be me and my ears, but classics brings me to tears. They don't make music like this, giving us a frolic, then a joyful kiss. I don't want to be labeled this guy, but some music today belongs in the pigsty. Thank you. My other one is called Untethered Meanwhile. I'm stuck in the dark without a blissful spark. Here I go over again inside my blackened friend. I feel like I'm drowning. My bubbles start howling, sinking deep in the sea, down, down in this poetry. Can I ask you a simple question for this chaotic situation? Why are you so serious? Why are you so delirious? You have the key to the anchor. There's no need to be crankier. Don't just sink like a bottle. Don't leave your heart throttled. Don't worry, you're not alone. Don't worry, you're not a stone. It sucks when you can't breathe. It sucks when your scars seethe. You're the bringer of relief. You're the caster of grief. I may not know your name, but I know the hot rod of shame. Release the chains inside that bind you. Release the prisoner inside of you. Thank you.
Ed, thank you. You're a hot rod of poems. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Ed. Potastic. On deck is Heidi Casa. Please welcome now Dig Wayne. Hello, Dig.
I was just messing with you, Rick. Tony, you said Bellingham, I guess that's Washington State. I was there not long ago and I went to Acme. And I was very excited to be in Acme. I tried to get some roller skates and rockets, you know, but and anvils, but they didn't have any. This one's called One at a Time. The tink tink of the spoon as it kisses the side of the cup reminds me of the failing crates we inhabit engaged in the daily scrimmage for tomorrow. Renting public stories for grief having run out in my heart. Listening to the news with one eye, attempting to swear off, but it just creeps into the cracks. Not enough sand on earth to bury my head in deep enough for a blessing for the departed, and nothing more. The sweet smell of today, reluctant joy. The tink reminds me of the pith and marrow unseen, holding up the sky we live and die under. Abbreviated lives. Who wants to live forever? Trying to negotiate with love, dodging the permission to hate that seems to permeate the air we slice through. Feral mendacitors roam the halls of victory with pockets full of dark shadows and dog whistles. Praise for corruption used as leavening that reaches soaring depths of living out or outliving. Rapture is baggage. Whether your toilet seat has brakes or just slams down, we all gonna go. The tink tink of the spoon kissing the cup reminds me of you. Where are you now? All that dust we carry becomes silent heartbeats left to wander until the last drop of elegy spill from the cup. Thanks. And from time to time, I write one-word poems. This is a one-word poem. It's bequeathed. Heidi got it.
Sorry, I thought that was going to take a lot longer. I once read to a
word doesn't take very long.
And
sorry?
The guy who got up to read a one-word poem took 20 minutes. I don't know how that was possible. Where are you, Dig?
I'm home. I'm just cozy and you know, keeping it dark and cozy and tight in here tonight. I didn't want to be, you know, I'm home.
Dark and cozy and tight. It sounds like a dream.
Maybe
I saw you.
Maybe
I saw you driving around in your car.
I'm sorry?
I saw you driving around in your car singing. Not live, but on the internet. You posted a video. So I guess that's a little safer than reading poems at an open mic while driving.
Yeah. I was singing. I knew the words. I wasn't reading something that I didn't know.
Yeah, I guess it's a whole different thing if you memorize your work.
Yeah. But maybe Heidi can explain that, the one word. She seemed to get it. I don't think anybody else got it. But, you know, that's okay. It's obscure. Maybe I can read it.
I guess we're going to find out because she's up next. And maybe she'll comment.
She's not going to touch that.
Not without a cleansing. Dig, thank you so much for being here. Glad you're home safe and warm and dark and cozy. Round of applause for Dig Wayne, the bequeathinator. On deck, I guess we'll try Cheryl Latif again because she's here, but I'm not sure that she's here. So we'll find out. We'll say Cheryl's on deck. If Cheryl isn't here, then I will be on deck to close out the open reading. That's the entire future of tonight. After our next reader, please welcome Heidi Casa. Hello, Heidi.
Hi, Rick. Hello, everybody. I think Dig meant the other Heidi that's here. Yeah, that she could explain bequeath. So that's not on me. Sorry. All right. Thanks for all the great poetry tonight. Thanks, Tony. This one is called Inside the Box. Fuzziness under my fingers reminds me our bodies still matter. Hands trailing as I turn away from the broad state of internal self-hatred. The billionaire man's fear of inefficiency, weakness, vulnerability core to being human. He spreads distrust and body denial. I don't buy. He takes away our data points of sight, touch, hearing, sucking them into one long server, a long numbered list. I move into the data center of my own body. And then this one I've read here before, but it was a poem I wrote on the day that my daughter was going to kindergarten for the first time. And just to set the scene, this was 2022, 1 month after Uvalde, and I live in Texas, about an hour away from there. Thicker than water after H2O. Slick hand in mine. She clings like the heat can suction her away. She feels its power omnipresent, pressing on our eyeballs. We don't want a savior. Hazy distortion surrounding us. We can hardly see the school and its promises. We can barely surmise its warnings. We need more good guys and fewer guns. Even in the glaze, the day already heavy. All my possible failures float, insisting I catch them to control them. But some speed by. I sweat. Is this the place where she'll die? Fleeting but insistent. Other possibilities freer. Lightning air in one exhale. We don't need heroes. The teacher smiles at her, extends a hand. We don't want to need to be saved. Just go about our day. The teacher reminds her to be calm. The learning passes between teachers and students, students and other students, friends, people now important to each other, interwoven. Leave us alone. Carrying each other moment to moment, remembering smiles as scaffolds, people as ledges in the cliff climb, trading sweetness. It's time we count them, even if the possibility is not enough to save. And then just a quick note was that that first teacher that she had who welcomed her passed away as a bystander in a shooting at a concert last year. So sorry to be heavy with it, but thank you for bearing with me because I wanted to practice that out before saying that in front of teachers and people who know this story. Thank you.
We're here for you to run things by, Heidi. Nice job. Powerful poems, as always. And it must be nice to have a backup Heidi in the room, just in case.
It is. Who knows more than me? I love it.
All right. Thanks for being here. A round of applause for Heidi Casa.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheryl Latif, are you with us? Maybe not. Okay. Well, I hope Cheryl's okay. I guess I'm going to close out the reading with a couple of poems. This first one, it's a new form I just came up with. It's a 245-word poem. So there you go. That's it's called Bequeathing While at Sea, subtitled On the Ship Before Getting Off the Ship Forever. 1. The elevator tells us it's Tuesday. Now you know as well. 2. Addie needs a shoe break, and she deserves one. She deserves all the breaks that could possibly be afforded to her. 3. In the Rolling Stone Lounge, where people like us are gathering, they have laid out coffee, water, and cookies. I'm not sure who needs a cookie at 7:50 in the morning. I just know it's not me. This is the place where last night we were given a whiskey distilled at a place that was destroyed by a tornado. I had to write tornado 3 times. The first time I typed volcano, and the second time it auto-corrected to tomato. I want neither of those things now, but I'm not conceptually against either. The bourbon had my name on the bottle, so it was an easy choice. I have no idea what choices I'll have to make the next 6 nights and which will be made for me. All I know is 2 nights ago in this room, I was given the funk, and I couldn't be more grateful. 4. Addie tells me she likes all my things. She means even the annoying ones, like the surprise umbrella I needed her to find a space for after she had already carefully Tetrised everything into the day bag. The umbrella was a surprise to us all, my love, and there's no one's things I'd rather commingle with than yours. That, by the way, is from my book, High Moose Alert, as previously referenced in this event. This last poem is called Angels Are on the Way. It was written after this week's Torah portion. The title of the Torah portion in Hebrew is Vayishlach, which means, and he sent. Angels are on the way. I'd like to send angels to your house to take care of all your troubles. If you've never seen an angel, you may wonder how to identify them. Treat everyone you meet as if they are one, and you'll be right every time. I'd like to send angels to where all the wars are to distract the perpetrators with their wings and beauty and overall angel vibe. Let them even try to continue the war after angel feathers brush against them. Some things aren't possible. I'd like to send angels to where parking meters run out. They'll be loaded with coins, but I guess we're all doing this electronically now. The angels will know what to do. Angels always know what to do. They're gathering up the shopping carts from the middle of parking spaces. They're putting sandwiches out wherever needed. They're reminding us no human is illegal. Oh, angels, I know you've come to me and I haven't always acknowledged. I've wrestled all night with you. That's how I got my name. Not Rick, the other one that sometimes people curse. I wear it with the pride of Jacob. Send me an angel. I'll send one back, postage included. This is how we go from generation to generation. All right, folks. Well, there you go. That was our reading tonight. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I especially want to say thank you to our featured reader, José Alcántara, who was fantastic in so many ways with his work tonight. There is the stuff in the chat room again for you to check out. You can tip Jose for his reading via the Venmo address that's there. You can download the broadside for his poem at the next link, which takes you to the Cobalt Poets website. On that website, you can see all the broadsides which have been published throughout the many years of this series. You can click on calendar to see who's coming up in the coming months. Next week, MC Mohagani Magnetek from Alaska will be here. click on email list. I know we have some new folks here. If you're not getting our weekly emails, if you click on email list and add your email, you can add your email and you'll get those emails. So there you go. That I believe. Oh, then there's a couple other things. There's Jose's website, josealcantarapoetry.com, so you can keep in touch with him there, and a link to his book, The Bitten World, on Amazon. I see Cheryl has made it, so let me interrupt my own closing up of shop by saying, Cheryl, would you like to read a couple of poems for us?
Sure. I didn't think I would be reading after you. I've never seen that happen. Well, hello, everyone. It's nice to be back here. It's been a long time, and I've enjoyed hearing you share your work. And let me share a couple pieces with you now. This first one is entitled Postmarks. I read your letter again this morning. You never say where you are, just that you were enjoying the continent, missing the soft curves of my body. It's the same letter, time and again. Only the postmark reveals a different story. These absences come and go while I unfold letters, search for something new, a place for me between the lines. In today's mail, another note. I think I'll leave it unopened. Read the postmark. Make up my own story. Thank you. And this piece is entitled Prayer Beads. Quiet as the dawning sky, I sit, anticipating birdsong, unsure about the sun. This stillness, my pilgrimage. At memory's pool, I drink in your visage, mindful not to disturb the surface, alter the spell with even a ripple of need. You leave gifts at my door, bits of song, slightly faded photographs, pages torn from an unfinished manuscript, untitled maps. I cannot decipher them without you. I have caught you like rain on my tongue, released you in beads of sweat, returned to the quiet again and again, to light candles, burn sandalwood, remember what I know. In pools of light, I hold your words, a rosary. Feel your desire in the smooth roundness of each bead. Cast prayers of strength. Wait for a sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Well, we started out strong. We ended strong. We had strength in the middle. Cheryl, thanks for sandwiching it all for us and for being here. Round of applause for Cheryl Latif. So I've already said all the closing things. I won't repeat myself. Thankfully, clicking on the Ask All to Unmute button so y'all can say hi to each other before we shut this shindig down.
Hi to each other.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dee.
Thank you, everyone, as always.
Thanks, everybody, for the fun.
Another good night.
Good night.
Good night.